It starts with a thought, a desire, a craving. Then comes stress, anxiety, anger. And suddenly you are no longer in charge. You're reacting, not responding. In the wisdom of yoga, stress is not only seen as a physical reaction but also as a mental disturbance that arises from the mind's inability to remain calm. We have already spoken about what Maharishi Patanjali has to say about the afflictions or the kleshas, which are the root of all the disturbances of the mind. You may go back to that video if you want to understand in detail. For now, let's understand that when the mind is agitated, it creates Vrittis, mental disturbances, and which cloud our judgment and peace. So is what Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Shlok 62 of chapter 2, when a person continually thinks about the sense objects, things that are pleasing to the senses, karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas, attachment arises. From attachment comes desire, and when the desire is unfulfilled, it leads to anger. Then he goes further, telling us that from anger comes delusion or confusion, and from this confusion comes loss of memory as we forget what is right or wrong, as our intellect is at stake. And when memory is disturbed, the intellect is destroyed. And once the intellect is gone, the person is completely ruined. We can understand that these verses are so related to the modern life. They show the psychological chain of reaction that starts with uncontrolled thoughts. We think of sense objects, we get attachment, we want the Saṅga of them, we desire them, there is a calm, a feeling to own them, Kāma. But if we don't get them, anger, Krodha takes us, and then when we are under the spell of anger, we are delusioned, confused, and memory loss is there, and intellect, buddhi, nash happens, and then complete nash happens, which is pranshayati, buddhi nashat pranshayati. These verses beautifully align with the modern psychological concepts and the cognitive behavior therapy, which talks about thoughts shaping our feelings, which shape our behavior and which shape the results. For example, if someone keeps looking at luxury items on social media, they get attached, develop desire, and if they are unable to get them, they feel frustrated or angry, leading to mental unrest and poor decision making. Shri Krishna has something more to say. So in the next verse he says, but when one moves among sense objects with the senses controlled, which means the intellect rules all the 11 indriya, one is free from attachment and aversion and is governed by a disciplined mind, and such a person attains inner prasad, which is inner peace. So this verse is already offering us a psychological solution which is posed in the previous verses. Problem, attachment, desire, anger, delusion, and loss of wisdom. Solution is free yourself from rag, attachment, dvesh, dislikes, and with self-discipline stay balanced. So there is no suppression, there is wise engagement. So it means living in the world, interacting with people and pleasures, but not being enslaved by them. And in today's modern world where we are hyper-stimulated, emotional neutrality and self-discipline, they really are vital to mental health. Otherwise we see so much happening and the mental health is really suffering. Whether it is social media, food, relationships or work, the key is to enjoy life without clinging, without getting attached. We shouldn't be employing the technique of anasakti bhav and not asakti bhav. So, what are the practical takeaways? Observe your rag and dvesh, what pulls you, what pushes you away, and mindfully detach. Engage with the world with awareness, not with compulsion, and self-discipline yourself through yoga, meditation, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, all are there for you. We have already spoken in great detail about Chitta Prasādanam, which Maharishi Patanjali gave, and we have already made a long video on Chitta Prasādanam, which is the makeup of mind. You may go back to that video and get the insight. Chitta Prasādanam is not a passive detachment, it's vibrant inner joy, and this is the heart of Harshit Yoga, the yoga for inner cheerfulness. And we talk about 5 practices. Abhyas, Sankalp, start your day with affirmation. Today I choose joy. Bodh, awareness, notice what disturbs your peace and take a pause and breathe. Kritakyata, gratitude. List 3 things daily, even when it is hard, on what you are grateful for. Antarharsha, inner smile meditation. Take 5 minutes of smiling within. Harshit Karma, doing all action with lightness and love. And we have already spoken about Harit Yoga, because the calm to the mind must be accompanied by reconnecting the world outside, and that is Harit Yoga. Eat real, feel the sun on your skin, touch the soil with your feet, breathe deeply under a tree. Yatha pinde tatha brahmande. So, the complete toolkit of yoga to de-stress is gentle yoga flow through yam, niyam, asan, breathing and sitting in meditation. Chitta Prasadan attitudes, digital pratyahar, set screen-free window every day, try to be happy with your own self. And yes, you will have to have Harshit and Harit moments, or the times when stress or anxiety try to bowl you over. Just pause. Remind yourself to pause, observe and breathe. One day of yoga may calm you, but 21 days above abhyas will transform you. Stress is not defeated in one battle, it is dissolved slowly and steadily with each small moment of committed practice. So be detached and let's move to today's intention. Today I choose awareness over anxiety, breath over burnout, and peace over pressure. See you tomorrow as we move one step closer to a calmer, more connected you towards International Yoga Day 2025.